Cedar Point, easily one of the best amusement parks not only in America, but the world. Coaster enthusiasts have talked about this park and their coasters for years, and will continue to do so for as long as I'm alive. This park is some of the most hyped up rides, whether it be Steel Vengeance, Maverick, Millennium Force. Enthusiasts are always wondering what's next, and today I'm talking to you about that. My name is the Coaster King, and today I'm going to be going through what I think Cedar Point is adding in 2022, how good their coaster will be, and what I think about it. Now, if you're in the enthusiast community, I'm sure I'm not the first one to tell you that Gerstlauer hinted at a new roller coaster that they will be building for May of 2022. Now, people had a bunch of different ideas for what park this is going to be added to, but what Gerstlauer gave us was two main ideas. One, that it is going to be in a tough spot, a tough location of some sort. That's all they kind of gave us, nothing too specific there. And we also know that it's opening in May of 2022 and will break some sort of record and will be a new one-of-a-kind coaster. So keeping those two things in mind, I was thinking a few different ideas. First, I was thinking Cedar Point and Dollywood. Also, I heard enthusiasts talk about smaller parks, like Glenwood Caverns or even a smaller Six Flags or Cedar Fair park. However, I don't think that's an option. I believe that the coaster that Gerstlauer is adding is at the least being added to a major park. I don't think any smaller parks right now have the budget or the willingness to spend a ton of money on a new record-breaking coaster that's likely to cost up to $25 to $30 million. So, since we know that this coaster is going to break records and be this giant new expensive addition, I think it's going to go to a major park, one that has a lot of cash flow, is willing to spend a lot of money on their new coasters. So that left me with the bigger parks, mainly Cedar Point, Kings Island, and Dollywood. Now, when I thought about these three parks, I thought Cedar Point was the most likely. We're pretty much confirmed that Cedar Point is getting a coaster in 2022. People have talked about it for years, they've been teasing at it, so I think Cedar Point is at least going to get a coaster in 2022. We also know that Cedar Point is very tight on space. We'll talk about where I think they're going to add their next coaster later, but we do know that they fit that mold of having a challenging location. Some people say it might be Kings Island and Dollywood because the challenging location could be hills or trees or you name it, they have it, and Cedar Point doesn't have those hills or trees. However, I think things like water and just overall lack of space also fit the mold of being a quote challenging location. So thus I narrowed it down to Cedar Point adding this ride in 2022. And I think this is the most likely option that Cedar Point is the location of this new coaster. So the ride you guys see on the screen here is of course Hang Time at Knott's Berry Farm. I believe that Cedar Fair and Cedar Point used this ride right here as a prototype for their new coaster. Now that's not the first time they've done something like this. I think they waited on adding rides like Steel Vengeance, whether it be Gatekeeper and Valraven, for other parks to add a dive, a wing, and RMC to see how they would react. And when the public reacted generally positive to them, they then went and added Valraven, Gatekeeper, and of course Steel Vengeance. I think Cedar Point is going to continue to do that here with Hang Time being the prototype for Cedar Point's next major coaster. So we also know that it's going to break some sort of record. And the record that I think that Cedar Point will be breaking with this ride could be a few different things. I think the most likely one, is the inversion record. Of course, it's held by the Smiler at Alton Towers. It's been held by that park for as long as I can remember. And I think that Cedar Point wants to break it. It would be an amazing fit for the park and draw in tons of people, as it is the most inversions on a coaster and people love to see records like that. Second, I can also see them doing something like the world's steepest drop. They definitely need like a vertical lift coaster. They don't have one, of course, at the park. So adding something with a beyond vertical drop would be absolutely phenomenal and draw in a lot of people. The third option I can see them doing is doing something like a Six Flags kind of move, where they say, oh yeah, we have the tallest and steepest coaster that's painted black and starts with the letter X. Right? Some stupid record that no one really cares about, but I can see him possibly doing that. I don't think it's a Cedar Point move, so I do think it's the least likely out of the three I mentioned, but I do see this as a possibility. So with that being said, I believe that Cedar Point's 2022 coaster will be very similar to Hang Time at Knott's Berry Farm. It'll have a somewhat similar layout and similar idea, except it will have the most inversions on any coaster out there. I also believe it will have a vertical lift and a beyond vertical drop. They may want to break that record for having the steepest drop, but I don't think it's necessary. They may just do like a 97-degree drop or something that they can flex the public and still draw in a lot of people. Now with that in mind, let's talk about where I think this will be. I think we're going to see Cedar Point removing Snake River Falls and adding a coaster in its spot. This location right here has had markings on it forever and is a generally very prime location. They've been trying to help out that frontier area of the park, and adding this coaster would absolutely do that. In addition, it would be a challenging location. It's right next to a body of water, and there honestly isn't a ton of land back there. So it would be pretty challenging to fit a coaster of this size into that spot. However, I do think Cedar Point will do it, and that Cedar Fair will work with Gerstlauer to really make sure that this ride is amazing. I think that the idea that Gerstlauer did say it's a challenging spot makes this Snake River Falls idea more popular. Personally, I don't know about you, I could be totally wrong about this, but I went to the park like 3-4 times and I have not seen Snake River Falls operate. I have seen it test, but not operate with people. I'm thinking they may be taking it down and destroying it and making room for this new coaster. Now let's talk about how good I think this coaster is going to be. No, I don't think this coaster is going to beat Steel Vengeance. I don't even think it's going to be close. But what I do think is that it's going to be a consistent ride and will be an amazing fit for the park. The ride I think it's going to be comparable to is a Valravn. On some rankings, including mine actually, this ride comes in at like 3 or 4. However, in other people's it's like 7 or 8. So overall, it's an amazing supporting cast coaster, but not an elite in the park. That's what I think this ride's going to be. It won't break like a 200-foot barrier, and although it's going to have the most inversions in the world, it won't be a coaster like Maverick or Steel Vengeance. Those two, in my opinion, will still be far and away the best two in the park. Yep, I said that. Millennium Force is nowhere near it. So I think this ride will be good, but not great in the park. Overseas, though, if you compare it to any other park, I think literally if you put this ride at any other park, it would be in their top 3. Maybe outside of Kings Island and Great Adventure. This ride is going to be overall just amazing, but not an elite coaster in the park. So with that being said, let's summarize what I think this ride will actually look like. I believe it will have 15 inversions, beating the Smiler and of course fitting in that record. I think it will have a height of 175 feet, just 25 feet over Hang Time at Knott's, reach a speed of 60 miles an hour, 3 miles per hour faster than Hang Time at Knott's, and also have a drop angle of 97 degrees. I think these stats are absolutely amazing, and this ride looks to be insane compared to some of the other rides in the world, and honestly will be Gerstlauer's best coaster. But with that being said, that's actually going to wrap up this video. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think Cedar Point's next coaster will look like, and how good do you think it'll be. See you guys next time.